Have you ever found yourself feeling stuck in the same cycle, repeating the same complaints, making the same mistakes, and allowing old habits to hold you back from moving forward? This feeling doesn't have to define your life. In this video, I'll share 7 attitudes that are sabotaging you without you realizing it, and how abandoning them can make space for a lighter, stronger, and more meaningful life. Each point I'll share is an invitation for reflection, with real-life examples and practical lessons that can transform the way you relate to the world, and, most importantly, to yourself. Watch until the end and allow yourself to take the first step toward the changes you deserve, because the life you want begins when you decide to let go of what holds you back and embrace who you were born to be. Don't settle for less than your best. There's an inspiring story about the former President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, who teaches us a transformative lesson about effort and dedication. During his youth, Jimmy Carter went for an interview for a position in the Navy. Full of enthusiasm, he detailed his achievements, flawless grades, past exams, and an exemplary record. He was confident that with such a resume, he would impress the interviewer. The interviewer listened attentively, and at the end asked just one question: "Did you always do your best?" The honest answer from the former president was, "No, I didn't always do my best." The interviewer stood up in silence and left the room. That simple, direct question stayed etched in Jimmy Carter's mind like a scar. Why didn't I do my best? And from that point on, he gave his all in everything he did, and that attitude led him to the presidency of the United States. Now, look at your own life. Think about the past months or the last year. How many times have you given your full heart and energy into something? How many times have you accepted good enough, or it's fine, knowing you could do more? The truth may be uncomfortable, but it's undeniable. Effort is the only thing 100% under our control. We don't control the results, circumstances, or recognition, but how we dedicate ourselves is completely our choice. Maybe you don't have your dream job, but the dedication you put into it makes all the difference. Compare 2 people in the same role. One does the bare minimum, while the other seeks to learn, improve, and find creative solutions. Who do you think will thrive? Maybe your house isn't the most modern or beautiful, but the care you put into it reflects how you value yourself and your family. It's not the luxury that transforms a house into a home, but the love you put into it. As the legendary runner Steve Prefontaine said, "Giving less than your best is to sacrifice the gift." This gift is not just your talent or ability. It's the life you're living right now, the time that never returns, the unique moment that is in your hands. When you give your best, you're not just delivering results. You're honoring yourself, respecting your potential, and living fully and authentically. So why settle for less? Why do the minimum effort possible? Go against the grain. Make maximum effort your trademark, not to impress others, but to look at yourself in the mirror with pride, knowing that you've lived up to the person you are capable of being. Giving your best is not a burden. It's a daily gift you offer yourself. It's the commitment to living without regrets, knowing you did everything you could with what you had today. Choose to give your best, not because of what you expect to receive, but because you deserve to live your best. Before continuing, I want to remind you that this video reached you because someone liked, commented, and shared it. Do the same and help spread this message to others. 1. The power of letting go. We've all been there, carrying the weight of past hurts, regrets, and mistakes like an invisible burden. But what if the power to release it all was in your hands? What if, in letting go of the things that no longer serve you, you could make space for new beginnings? Imagine standing before a fire, watching the smoke rise as it carries away what you no longer need. This simple act symbolizes a deep truth. In order for the new to enter, you have to make room. What happened, happened. The words spoken, the betrayals, the mistakes, none of it can be undone. Maybe the ones who hurt you will never apologize, but the power to stop carrying that weight, that's yours. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. And it certainly doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It means recognizing the pain, but deciding it will no longer control your life. It's looking back and saying, "That hurt me, but it does not define me." Every time you let go of a grudge, something new is born, a little more peace, a little more strength, a new opportunity to start over. Because freedom isn't about trying to change what's past, but in deciding how you'll walk forward from here. The past is a story written, and it can't be rewritten. But you can choose not to carry it as a burden anymore. Free yourself, not as someone who erases memories, but as someone who decides they won't be imprisoned by them. Life is here, in the present moment, and you deserve to live it with a light heart, unburdened by the invisible chains of the past. In 2025, choose lightness. Choose yourself. 2. Break free from emotional and physical habits. Breaking free from emotional and physical habits starts with saying no. How can you lead your life with wisdom if you don't govern your own choices? The Stoics remind us that we are not truly free if we give our power away to someone or something. Every time we allow addictions, whether it's alcohol, drugs, pornography, or emotional dependence on others, to control us, we relinquish our chance to live a fulfilling and authentic life. Think about those moments when you catch yourself repeating a behavior you know isn't good for you. Maybe it's opening an app for the 100th time that day, hoping for a moment of relief that never comes, or depending on someone's praise to feel seen. These patterns trap us, even when we know they're taking us further away from what truly matters. For the Stoics, true power doesn't lie in controlling the world around us, but in governing our desires. They teach that poverty isn't having little, but being a slave to an insatiable desire for more pleasure, more attention, more distraction. This constant chase keeps us locked in. Real wealth lies in self-control and reason. It's when we consciously decide what to let into our lives and what to discard. These qualities free us from the invisible chains of addiction and allow us to build a life guided by balance, discipline, and purpose. But the practice of self-control isn't just for ourselves. When we conquer it, we become capable of leading and inspiring others. Whether as parents who lead by example, mentors who guide with wisdom, or friends who offer empathy, we cannot guide others if we are not in control of our own actions and thoughts. When we neglect this responsibility, something or someone inevitably takes control, whether it's a destructive habit or emotional dependency. We surrender our power instead of keeping it in our hands. This state of disorder makes us abandon our best selves, wasting the potential we have to achieve greatness. Change begins when we draw a firm line. Every no is a victory, and every conscious decision, no matter how small, reinforces our ability to take the reins of our own lives. Self-control is more than discipline. It's the foundation for a life led by reason, purpose, and true freedom. So start today. Say no to what doesn't serve your purpose, even if it's uncomfortable at first. It's the small choices that shape big changes, because true greatness lies in taking charge of your existence. And it begins now with you. 3. Anxiety does not define you. Have you ever stopped to think about how much of your mental energy is consumed by worries that never actually come true? It's as if you hold a remarkable paintbrush in your hands, capable of creating masterpieces. But instead, you choose to use it to paint dark scenarios, repetitive thoughts, and imaginary dialogues where you always come out losing. The constant feeling that you're being judged, this robs your creativity and drains your ability to create something positive. Think for a moment. When was the last time you used your imagination to envision something going well? To imagine a day of peace, a genuine connection with someone, or the achievement of a goal? If you rarely do that, perhaps your mind is trapped in a cycle that feeds anxiety, self-criticism, and doubt instead of hope and possibilities. The Stoics remind us that the mind is our greatest ally, if we know how to direct it. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not over events outside. Recognize this, and you'll find strength." The issue isn't that you imagine, but how you use your imagination. When we let it run wild, it easily takes us to dark places, amplifying fears and creating scenarios that don't even exist. But if we choose to direct it constructively, It can become one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. Think about this practical example. You're about to walk into an important meeting, and your mind starts to create scenarios of failure. What if my boss doesn't like my ideas? What if my colleagues criticize me? What if I stutter? What if instead you stopped and used this moment to visualize the opposite? Picture yourself speaking with confidence, being heard with respect, and leaving the room feeling accomplished. Thinking this way isn't naive optimism, it's a mental exercise. Just like athletes visualize victory before competitions, you can use your imagination to prepare your mind to act with more certainty and purpose. Another example. Think about the last time you faced a challenge. Maybe you got stuck in what if it goes wrong? But what if you had focused on what if I succeed? When you direct your mental energy toward positive possibilities, you're not ignoring the risks, but choosing a path that drives you to act with more clarity. Anxiety doesn't define who you are. It's simply a reflection of how your mind processes the world around you. The Stoics teach us that we can learn to govern our thoughts, turning imagination from a prison into a tool of freedom. Redirect your mind. Replace scenarios of failure with images of overcoming. It's not about ignoring the problems, but training your mind to focus on solutions. This seemingly simple choice has the power to transform not only your days, but the way you approach life. Anxiety may feel like a storm, but remember, behind it, you're still in control of the ship. Choose to navigate toward clarity, peace, and purpose. Your mind is more powerful than you think. Use it to your advantage. 4. Stop complaining. Complaining never changed anything. Marcus Aurelius had every reason in the world to complain. He faced betrayals, manipulators, and crushing responsibilities in a position he never wanted. He was surrounded by adversity, dealt with people trying to deceive him, and often didn't get the luck he thought he deserved. And yet, in none of his meditations, his personal journal of thoughts, do we find a trace of complaining. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste his energy complaining about ingratitude, injustice, or the weight of his duties. For him, complaining, even in silence, was a waste of time and mental strength. Complaining, in his view, didn't change the facts, it only weakened the soul. Instead of complaining, he chose to face challenges with serenity, finding in them opportunities to grow. Life is full of challenges, many of which you didn't choose and can't control. But you always have the choice of how to react. Complaining is easy, but it's not useful. Choosing silence, action, or reflection in the face of difficulty is what truly transforms your life. 5. Limitless availability will drain you. You don't owe anyone anything. This phrase isn't just a reminder, it's a cry for freedom. Responding to every message, answering every request, or being available all the time isn't an obligation. It's a choice. And conscious choices define the direction of your life. Today, being available all the time is often confused with competence, but this endless connectivity brings no efficiency, only exhaustion. Every notification or demand seems urgent, but in reality, few of them really matter. While you're running to put out small fires throughout your day, what's truly essential gets pushed aside. This is where the wisdom of something as simple as the Eisenhower matrix comes in. It's a tool that teaches us to distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. How many times have you found yourself running to solve something that seemed indispensable, but in the end, contributed little to your goals or happiness? Being unavailable for what's irrelevant is actually an act of courage. Saying no to what drains your energy and distracts your attention is saying yes to what truly makes sense, your projects, your mental health, and the people who really matter in your life. Remember, time and energy are not infinite. Every second you waste on something that doesn't matter is a moment lost that will never return. Protect these precious resources, not out of selfishness, but wisdom. Stop trying to please everyone. Redefine your priorities. Because, in the end, what truly matters is not how many things you did, but how deeply you lived what was essential. 6. Protect what enters your mind. Tell me who you walk with, and I'll tell you who you are. This classic phrase carries a deep truth. We are shaped by the people we choose to surround ourselves with. But this influence goes beyond physical company. We are also deeply transformed by the information we consume every day. So, reflect. What composes your mental diet? What ideas, words, and content have you allowed into your mind? Marcus Aurelius left us a reminder that still makes sense today. The soul is dyed by the thoughts. This means that every conversation you have, every post you read on social media, every TV show you watch, these subtly or explicitly influence the way you think and even the person you are becoming. If you spend hours consuming shallow content, gossip, or negativity, this will inevitably leave its marks on your mindset and character. You become a reflection of the environment you consume. But when you consciously decide what enters your mind, you start planting seeds that can transform your life. Epictetus warns us sharply. You give your mind to anyone who comes along, and they can abuse it, leaving you disturbed and unsettled. Your mind is a valuable space that needs to be protected with the same seriousness as you would protect something essential, like your house or bank account. Think of your mind as fertile soil. What you plant and nourish will determine what grows. When you consume deep ideas, constructive conversations, or stories that challenge your limits, you are cultivating mental terrain that sustains growth, purpose, and resilience. If you dedicate just 30 minutes a day to learning something new, reflecting on your values, or immersing yourself in the wisdom of great thinkers, you will not only transform your perspective, but also the very core of who you are. Every conscious choice you make about what you consume shapes your essence. Surround yourself with content and people that elevate you, challenge you to be better, and inspire the best version of yourself. Your transformation begins with the choices you make every day. After all, the quality of your life is defined by the quality of your thoughts. 7. Stop competing with others. How many times have you compared yourself to someone else? It's almost automatic to look at those who seem further ahead, achieving more, or living better. But stop and think, does this really help you? Or does it only take you further from what matters? What really matters is your path, your evolution, and your journey. It's not about being better than others, but about being better for yourself. True effort isn't for applause or trophies. It's about waking up every day and continuing, even when no one is watching. It's about facing your fears, doubts, and taking one more step. Seneca reminds us that we must strengthen our bodies so they can support the demands of our minds. Every effort is an internal battle, not against others, but against our own limitations. Epictetus said, "Run races where the victory depends on you." This means overcoming procrastination, laziness, discouragement, and the fear of failure. The greatest achievements happen when you persist, even without an audience or immediate recognition. When you stop competing with others, you discover something much greater: the peace of living in alignment with what truly matters to you. This gives you the freedom and strength to build a life that makes sense. Now, as we come to the end of this video, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect. What change are you going to make today? What thought, action, or decision will you take to move yourself closer to the person you truly want to be? The power to transform your life is in your hands. But it all starts with the choices you make today, the small steps you take, and the mindset you cultivate moving forward. This is your journey. You are the author of your story, and it's never too late to rewrite the next chapter. If this video resonated with you, if it helped open your eyes to a new way of thinking, or if you simply feel inspired to take action, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. By doing so, you're not just supporting me, you're committing to your own personal growth and development. And remember, there's another video on this channel that can help you take that next step. Click on it now to continue your journey toward becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, keep growing, keep pushing, and always remember, your potential is limitless.